What's up, guys? SenVale here, and today we're doing another tier list, but doing a little bit different. We're doing a tier list based purely on operators you should pick for solo queuing. I've had a lot of questions about like who you should play in solo queue, who's good, who's bad, etc. So today we're doing a tier list based on who you should play in solo queue. Basically, if you don't really have people that are coordinating really at all, you can't really communicate with them in a real way, and you kind of just have to rely on just yourself effectively. So we're gonna be doing every operator in the game all together. Let's do defenders first though. All right, Denari, even for solo queue, I think that he's still gonna be an S tier. Good weapons, good util, everything is completely solid even for solo queue. Sentry, I'm gonna say B tier, because you have a lot of kit, you have a lot of options, especially when you're by yourself. Smoke definitely takes a little bit of a dip for denial. I mean, if you're in a 1v3 and they're dropping hatches all around you, I mean, it's a little annoying to be smoked, but like you definitely make it work. Actually, no, I'm putting him in A tier. I literally can't put smoke lower than A tier. I just physically can't do it. Mute for solo queue, I think mute's pretty good. He's all right, but you have no real util to really slow them down in any real way. If they're all just walking in, your teammates are dead, no one's really coordinating. I've been left with a shotgun in SMG-11 a couple times, and it's not fun. Castle, all right, this is where it starts to get a little crazy. Castle in solo queue, I'm gonna go C tier. I mean, I don't think Castle's better than that in terms of solo, because you don't want to be leaving out like an elaborate strategy with Castle and your teammates have absolutely no idea how to play around it at all. Pulse and solo, definitely D tier. You're very far off site and you're usually having to sprint back to site, and you don't really get a chance to really use your ability fully. Doc in solo queue, even with the nerf with no ACOG, I still think he's a B tier. You have Barb and you have a gun and you have heals. I mean, you kind of have everything you need to just take the fights. Rook, I think Rook now especially is definitely and I'll put Rook C tier because he does have a nitro now. Still, you definitely want to be more aggressive as Rook because you already used your kit and you want to like try to go for kills. Capkin solo queue, definitely gotta be an A tier for me minimum. Really good solo queue. If you get a pick where you're not there, that's awesome. Tachanka solo queue, it's gonna be D tier. I mean, you're really picking him for the gun here. I mean, I get it, I understand, but Yagan solo queue, again, another C tier operator. It's really more for strategies and like holding areas down. In solo queue, you're gonna have some coordination, but not a ton. Bandit, C tier as well. In solo land, I mean, there are going to be opportunities where you can trick and stuff, but you're going to have attackers run up on you, and if you die with a bandit charge in your hand, trust me, there's nothing more infuriating than that. Frost, solid B tier op, plays traps down. It's pretty easy to coordinate off that. And okay, gun, no ACOG anymore though. Valkyrie, D tier. Valkyrie in D tier. SenVale, why'd you do that? SenVale, you're dumb. Well, who's watching cameras? Who's calming? It's solo queue. You can't trust your random teammates to do that. And that's what Valk's all about, is using your cameras. You could be the person using Valk, using your mic and calling out to your team. Hopefully they're listening, but really dependent on listening teammates. Gav, I'm gonna say F tier. I thought about D tier for a second, but it hurts me to put Cav anywhere near these ops. You're gonna try to go for a roam, maybe get in Terra, maybe kill a guy crouch walking across the map, but the other team doesn't fall for it, then you're playing inside as Cav, which sucks. Echo, another op that relies on cameras. Honestly, operators that rely on camera intel are going to be lower on this list because in solo land, you can't really count on people to really watch things. So things that you like, utility that you can place down and it's just always active, is going to be a lot higher. Mira, pretty easy to play off the Mira. In fact, it probably plays her S tier because it's really easy for people to coordinate off the Mira, and they may just face check the Mira. Legion without the super shorty, I'm going to place him in C tier land. I love Legion, but man, that super shorty nerf hurt him bad. Ella, any traps are going to be elevated just a bit because it'll just slow them down. Vigil is going to be D tier. Unless you have a nuke round and you go off, having to double back to side if your teammates are just getting dropped, not fun. Maestro, again, camera operator. Alibi, at least you have a bailiff to open up rotations and whatnot, but your ability is kind of stinky. Clash is going to be a little bit higher, B tier, but you're not really going to have much backup and support as Clash when you're in solo land, so I'm still placing Clash at B tier. Cade, easy S. I mean, you can, doesn't take much coordination to throw a Cade on a hatch and then just hold an angle down. Pretty self-explanatory on that one. Mozzie, again, more camera intel, but it's more about the denial of intel from the enemies, so I'll place him a little bit higher because of that. Warden, D tier. Again, just not much to slow the enemy down really in any capacity. Goyo, A tier. Really easy to coordinate off Goyo Vulcan fire, even with randoms that aren't listening and talking. I mean, you see a fire, you shoot it, they can't walk through it. Simple enough. And you have a really good gun. Mozzie, sorry, Wamai, now with a, I believe he has a super shorty now. I'm going to place him a little bit higher because he does have sight rotation ability, a decent gun, a good gadget for slowing them down when they're throwing util at you. I think Wamai is going to see a lot more gameplay this season. Oryx, I just don't really see a point. It's kind of like Cab in a way. You can go off. Listen, any operators that are ranked low, you can go off as them. I'm not saying that they are bad operators. I'm just ranking them based on what I feel like they bring to the table when you have teams that literally will not talk to you at all. Like, you can't talk to them, they can't talk to you. Coordination is almost zero. You're basically coordinating what you have in game. And if there's more coordination, obviously, you know, they're going to do better. But without any coordination, this is how I'm going to rank the operators based on their overall kit, their effectiveness, their utility they bring, and how the utility that they leave when they die. Malusi. Malusi, I'm probably going to have to put her at least at A. I mean, the Banshees, even if you go down, I mean, the Banshees are going to save rounds. Aruni DMR. Gates slow them down. You have Barb. You have a DMR with an ACOG. Not bad. Thunderbird. Rotation making. Good gun. And the heals that stay after your death. Thorn. I just don't really see a point in playing Thorn in any real capacity, let alone in solo queue. You're a psycho for doing that. Azami. Azami's such a damn strong operator. It's hard to even place her anywhere near A, so I just have to place her at S, because even Azami solo, most of the time Azamis are playing kind of solo style in a power position, so it doesn't really affect Azami too much. Solus, don't bother. That's crazy. Fenrir, no sight setup with no secondary shotgun, but even with that, I don't see him dropping below C tier because it does make it harder for the attackers to walk through. Tuberow, I mean, he does have that DMR, but not much else. I mean, yeah, you can coordinate with a hard breach denial to stop the wall, but again, you're picking Tuba because you see you have a bandit in it or a Cade, and then you play Tuba. I mean, I guess you can pretty much coordinate off of those, so I'll place Tuba a little bit higher because it's pretty easy to coordinate a Tuba when you see your team brought a bandit or a Cade. So you can just, I mean, you freeze the wall and then the wall's still closed. Scopos in solo, can't really be higher than C tier. Love Scopos gun, the hitbox, everything, but nothing really to slow down attacker. Oh, sorry, yeah, slow down the attackers really in any way. I believe that is all the defenders. One quick scan. All right, this is the defending portion of the solo queue list. I mean, kind of makes sense. It goes like a triangle peak. Again, these operators are not ranked on how good I think they are in a coordinated 5-stack. This is just solo queue where coordination is a minimum. It's not 0, but at a very minimum coordination, and your likelihood of doing well and winning rounds while playing these operators, even when you die, it's, you know, like operators that S and A are going to have a lot more utility, or they're going to have better kits to just deal with attackers when they don't really have that much backup. And as you go down the list, you start to enter the realms of, okay, I kind of need my team to do this. I need my team to do that. I don't have anything to do, you know, deal with example A or example B. So, and then obviously the ones at the bottom are more like either camera heavy operators or roam heavy operators that when they die, they don't really have anything else left on the table. So, all right, the defenders. Now, let's go to the attackers. Let's really upset some people right now. I'm not trying to upset anybody. I'm trying to be fair. Striker, honestly, this is going to be a crazy one. And I thought about placing him around here, but I gotta do that. Do this really quick. Yeah, striker, S tier. You don't really need anybody to help you open up a wall. You got it all on your own. I mean, pretty simple to me. All right, sledge. Operators that have grenades are going to be a little bit higher because you can basically deal with whatever you need to when you have explosives most of the time. So operators with grenades are going to slowly drift up more than the others. So just keep that in mind. Sledge, still solid, not a horrible pick. You can do a lot of work playing as Sledge. Thatcher, B tier. EMPs are good, but really is strongly paired with a hard breacher of some sorts. But if you see your teammate bring, let's say, a thermite or an ace, you can bring Thatcher and just kind of like kite around him and, you know, help him out. It's pretty easy to coordinate that. Ash, the master entry. I mean, you can't really go wrong with Ash on that. All right, Thermite in solo queue is, I'm gonna play C tier. There's nothing more annoying than attacking cache or gym bedroom as Thermite wanting to open up a wall, and your team brought nothing to help you really open that wall, and they, you know, forgot you exist, and you're just outside of an electrified wall, and you're just like, now what? So Thermite, C tier. Twitch, operators that are more camera heavy are going to drift lower, but Twitch is more like on her camera real quick and then you're off. So I think Twitch is going to be still pretty high. Operator like Brava is going to be lower because Brava spends a lot more time on a drone than I would say Twitch does. So Brava will go to C because she's spending more time on the cameras, and Twitch can basically deal with basically whatever you run into, and you're off your camera pretty quick. Montaigne in solo, kind of a mixed bag here, but I mean, Monty doesn't really need too much backup as long as teammates are in the general area. And if you're Montaigne, you can kind of look where your teammates are at and kind of work around them. Glass, I just don't think that you should do this. This is more, Glass is a more coordinated type operator that you play with teammates going for a coordinated push of sorts. Fuse, can't really be higher than the D tier here for me. I mean, good gun. You do have can openers. You have fuse charges to get around a mute jammer at the very least. But you're heavy, and you're not going to have that many opportunities to really do anything with your fuse charges in most rounds. Blitz without support can still be fairly effective, but definitely does not shine in those situations. IQ, she has nades, but I just don't really see the point in bringing an IQ really in any capacity in the current meta in Siege. So if you're gonna bring IQ, I'd suggest bringing Grim if you like her gun. Grim is an overall better operator. He has Bs, which require basically little to no real actual coordination. They're bead, you see them, so do your teammates, and then you can push in. He has a bailiff for making vertical or lines of sight real quick. Yeah, I also get a ton of kills with that bailiff because remember, Grim is a 3 speed, so you could run up on somebody and empty that bailiff in someone's face. I do it all the time. Buck, definitely at least an A tier operator. In solo, he is really, really strong. In fact, I'm placing him in S tier. I'll do it. That's my one crazy hot take, other than the IQ situation. But Buck, you can maneuver around so much as Buck with all the soft destruction. So if you run into a wall, you can just kind of go around it, and you can just keep maneuvering around until you find a situation that favors you. If you're a really good player solo queuing as Buck, you can still do really well. Blackbeard with all the nerfs, I still think Blackbeard is going to really still be annoying to deal with, so he still beats here. Capital, Swiss Army knife but master of none type beat. I'll place the Capital at C tier. I think that's fair. You have a lot of util to deal with basically whatever you run into, but you don't have the perfect tool for really any job, so you're really, I think that's a valid one. Hibana can still do a lot even without teammates, but definitely is an S tier here because Cade exists, and it's kind of annoying to deal with Cade hatches if you are Hibana, but you can always usually find a way of making a Hibana effective. Jackal in solo, operators that basically have your gun up most of the time are going to do better in solo. When you're on your camera and your teammates are running around taking firefights and dying, you're basically outside and your team's in a 4v5. Operators that require you to be inside the map with your gun up, you're going to see a lot more success in rounds, especially in solo, winning, playing ops like that. So Jackal would normally probably be lower, but because he forces you to basically be inside, it's going to be not as bad. Ying, it's kind of easy to coordinate off the Ying Candelas. You see your teammate do something aggressive, they'll be having their guns up trying to get freebies around you. Okay, now Zofia. Kind of like that Swiss Army knife, master of none, jack of all trades, 3 armor, not really fast, but you have a hard breach charge, you have concussions, you have impacts open up, but her gun is wild and really unpredictable, and she's slow. So let's go with Dokkaebi. Dokkaebi is really easy to coordinate off of. I mean, and you're fast, you can maneuver around and help your teammates out with the calls. Lion, definitely more for a coordinated stack, but he does have grenades that can kind of really punch through a defense, so still relatively effective. Finka doesn't take that much coordination to heal your teammates as Finka, and you have grenades with a decent gun. Maverick is another hot take. Maverick is one of those ops I think that isn't super strong without backup in some capacity, either watching his flank or watching his holes he's making. So I'm going to place Maverick a little bit lower than I would, normally, because he can punch through anything, but you kind of do need a little bit of backup because you're very exposed with that torch in your hand. Nomad, I think Nomad is probably an S tier operator in solo. Air jabs to watch your own flank or to use them offensively to jab people out of positions. You have flashbangs and you have a decent gun. She can kind of push around whatever the defense is throwing at her. Gridlock, I would say A tier. She's slow, yeah, but what she's slow and she makes up for a solid gun, grenades, and tracks. Honestly, she has a really damn good kit even for solo. Other than the fact that she's slow is the only thing that's wrong with her. Amaru, I probably wouldn't try to do Amaru in solo queue. It's going to not work very well the vast majority of the time. Same with Knock, but Knock even more so. Knock in solo is like crazy bananas. But now I think about it, Knock, yeah, no, Knox is just no. I just wouldn't do it. Same with Callie. Operators that require you to crouch walk across the map or bait really hard, you're gonna end up in a lot of situations where you're the last one standing in like a 1v3 and you're probably not going to win it. It's just not great. Ayana, Ayana, I would say D tier. She doesn't really have much going for her. I mean, upgraded version is Nomad, so like, you know, I would just pick Nomad if I were you. Ace, there's a reason why so many people ban Ace. Ace is probably the easiest operator to use in solo. You have a good gun, you have a decent breach that opens up with just one throw, and you either have breaching charges for self-destruction or you have claymores to watch your flank. Honestly, Ace is really nice to play. Zero, I go back to that thing I was saying, who's going to watch your cameras? I think Zero is like, but he does have a hard breach. He does have some util, but again, it does come back down to the, you think someone's watching the camera and you don't really have the backup you think you do. Flores, I love Flores. I always place him really high, but Flores in solo, I would say that he's B tier because you can get on and off your cameras really quick. You don't never really have to use all your cameras. If you want to use all your cameras, it usually only takes like 20-30 seconds of the round, and then you're back into the fight with a decent gun and flashbangs to like entry off of after destroying all the enemy util. I think Flores can be extremely effective. In fact, I changed my mind. Flores, yeah, but for SenVale, Flores has cameras. Yeah, but it's not cameras where you're maneuvering around looking for, you know, enemies that might be hiding in corners. This is like, I'm throwing a Flores drone in to destroy something, and then I'm good. Sens, definitely more of a coordinated stack type op, but you do have grenades. You can do something with Sens. Grenades, the wall that no one can see through. I mean, it's not the worst thing in the world. Osa, I don't feel like Osa needs a ton of support, but she does need some. And she's a decent gun with grenades at the very least. And she has a shield that she can plant down and just kind of chill for a second. But don't chill for too long and don't bait too hard because your team's all going to be dead. Ram. Ram is slow. She's like the fat version of Ash, but she does have a lot of soft pressure with her drones. And she has a good gun. I would say Ram is at least a B tier in terms of solo Q picks. Deimos, I would say A tier. Because Deimos is kind of always playing alone anyways. It doesn't really affect Deimos too much. You're playing underneath on the realm, looking for someone that's isolated. And you're just taking those, you know, ones. And then Rora. Rora in solo queue. I think there's potential in this. You can close off a door to watch your flank and then push forward with your DMR. I think there's potential in that. I think Rora's okay. All right, are these all the attackers? Yes. All right, again, I'm going to say this, and I've said it a couple times, but I want to make sure it is said that this is not my ranking of how good an operator is in a 5-stack. This is how good I think an operator will net you benefits in a solo queue environment with little to no coordination at all with your teammates. This is how I rank them, with S and A tier being operators you can bring in solo queue and you're going to tend to do all right. B and C tier, operators a little bit more situational, should a situation call upon it, but you should do moderate, you should do okay. And then D and F tier, more like you should probably mostly stay away in solo queue, or those operators are very situation specific, or they're operators that really need a stack to really shine through. Like an operator like Glass can be extremely strong and win you rounds when you're with a coordinated stack that's playing off the glass smoke and going for like a fast plant, or like Amaru doing a fast hit, or I mean, hell, even like an operator like Zero, where you're gonna actually have people watching all your cameras that you leave for flanks when they go down. So you know, I think this is fine. I think this is solid. I know I'm gonna get some backlash on the Zero being there, but like, again, I've played this game for 10 years. I'm top 20 in the world right now, and I haven't really seen that many Zero players that are really good. So sorry about it. Anyways, that's a solo queue tier list. Make sure to subscribe, comment, and leave a like down below for more, and let me know if you guys would change anybody on this list, and tell me why. Don't just be like, SenVale, you're dumb, or this list stinks. Tell me who you would change and why, and we could maybe have a conversation about it. All right, peace out. Till next time.